Oh, hello! Welcome back to my Chanel. So this happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and I have not been able to get it off my mind, so I thought I would just get it off my chest and tell all of you. And as you've already seen by the title, this video is going to be about how I was publicly shamed for how I dress. Always a fun time. So last month, March 2021, I was invited out by a female family member, let's call her Beth. So Beth invited me out to go hang out with her friend Susan at Susan's workplace. I haven't been able to go out and be social in a long time, especially because of quarantine, so of course I was really excited by this. I was like, yes, absolutely, I would love to go visit Susan with you, let's go. So Susan owns her own business, and it's kind of a public place where you can go out, kind of like a frozen ropes situation where it's an outdoor facility. You can have families there, kids, grown-ups. It was one of the first warmer days here in New York, so spring was in the air. I was all excited to go out and be in public, so I got dressed up, I put on a cute outfit, did a little bit of makeup, and I was ready to go. So I drive out to meet Beth at Susan's place, and then I pull in, I see both of them talking in the parking lot, they're both wearing masks, you know, I wave at them, they're like, hi, I see you. So I pull into the parking lot, park my car. I get out of my car, and the first thing I hear as I'm walking towards the two of them is Susan saying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And because she was wearing a mask, I couldn't quite tell what her expression was. I was like, is this a good thing that she's saying that? Is she just excited to see me? I didn't know what was happening. But she was saying this loud enough so I could hear her as I was walking to her across the parking lot. So I walk up to them, I say, hi, how are you? They say, hello, good to see you, welcome. And then that's when it started to get a little strange. So I wish I could remember the details here, but Susan said something about my outfit. So then after that, she started telling me this story about how one of the women she used to have come there to the facility to use it was a stripper, but she didn't know it at the time. And just the way Susan was talking about this woman who was a stripper instantly rubbed me the wrong way. Like, who cares if she was a stripper? What bearing does that have on this story? Anyway, so she was saying, yeah, we used to have this woman come here who was a stripper, which I didn't know at the time, and she had really big boobs. I was like, okay, where is this going? So Susan continued saying, yeah, this woman had really big boobs, and when she would exercise, they would bounce all over the place. And all of the men, all the fathers of these families here would just stare at her and ogle her. So because of stuff like that, we like to keep it more casual here. And in my mind, I was like, what is happening? I don't understand. First of all, as y'all can see, I do not have big boobs. If you followed me for any amount of time, I always comment about how small of a chest I have. So I was just really confused at this point. I didn't know what was happening. So eventually I realized the point she was trying to make is that I was inappropriately dressed for my surroundings. And I think she was trying to say it in a nicer way, but then when I realized what she was saying, I was just so shocked I did not know what to say. So I was standing there in shock, not knowing what to say, and then Beth chimes in and says, yeah, if you could zip up your jacket, because I was wearing a jacket, that would be great. What? Then after saying this, Beth motions to me to zip up my jacket and says, yeah, there's families here. I was wearing a crop top, and basically they were telling me that I needed to cover up because I was inappropriate. And their main point of reasoning was that there were families there. That's why they wanted me to cover up. So I just did not know what to say. I was just so blown away because I've known both of these women for most of my life. And I have never been treated like this by either of them before, so I was very confused. And in my head I was thinking, it would have been great if you had told me this beforehand. First of all, they had never mentioned there was a dress code or anything like that. And I was trying to be rational and saying, okay, I understand that this is her property, this is her place of business, she makes the rules, but I was not told anything of the sort before coming here. I didn't know what to do. So internally, I went from confused to upset to angry quite quickly. And it didn't help matters that I am a very rebellious person. I do not like being told what to do, especially when it comes to clothing. So of course my initial reaction internally was absolutely not. I am not gonna zip up my jacket. But at the same time I thought, okay, if there are families here and there are husbands here, then I'll zip up my jacket because I don't want to draw attention to myself. Sure, I can compromise a little bit until I figure out what the heck is happening here. But there were no men present. Absolutely none. Because we were walking into one of the buildings on the property, and I was like, all right, if there are families in here and there are husbands or men, sure, I'll zip up my jacket. There were no men present. So then the entire time that I was there for the rest of the visit, I was just seething. I was so angry and upset. And I was going back and forth in my head trying to figure out, am I being unreasonable? Is this, something that I should have thought of before I came here? I did not know what to do or what to say. And I think the thing that complicated this the most was that I knew Susan. I've known her since I was a kid, and she's never, ever said anything like that to me before. So as we're standing there watching people work out and do their thing, I was just kind of trying to figure out what to do. Should I leave? Should I just go for a walk and try to calm down? And so eventually Beth noticed that I was upset and said, "Hey, what's wrong? You seem upset." No shit. And I told her I was upset that you and Susan just kind of ganged up on me and told me to cover up and that this is a family place, and that was the first thing that they said to me. So for reference, here is the outfit that I was wearing. I was wearing a pink crop top with long sleeves, a black leather jacket on top of that, and then black ripped jeans with boots. So I was trying to explain to Beth that I just thought I couldn't comprehend that what I was wearing was deemed offensive and not appropriate for a family facility. That I just could not understand. So I did my best to just stand there and try to calm myself so I could talk about this in a rational way. So throughout my, I want to say, hour and a half long stay there, it was all women. There was one man, there was one father with his child sitting on a bench, but he was on his phone and never looked up at anything the entire time. And one thing I found interesting is that all of the kids that were there, all these young girls, they were super nice to me. They came up, they talked to me, they engaged, it didn't make me feel like I was out of place. But all of the older women that were there treated me like I was doing something shameful and wrong. They ignored me, they did not make eye contact, they wouldn't engage with me in conversations, even though I tried to engage them and say things in the conversation. It was all a big group. There were a few groups here and there where we were walking around talking to people, and then at the end there was one big group circle where people were all talking to each other, and for the entire time they would not make eye contact, they wouldn't talk to me, they wouldn't respond when I said something and tried to engage in the conversation. And the only time they did look at me was when they thought I wasn't looking, and then they kind of gave me the side eye and looked at my outfit. So that didn't feel very good. So I just kept trying to be nice. I smiled, I looked at all of them, I tried to engage in conversation, but I was just ignored. I will say, towards the end of my visit, it got a little bit better where I was able to actually get some eye contact with some of these women, but for the most part, I just felt so unwelcome. And I have never experienced that ever in my life, and it made me really sad that I just shouldn't be there because of what I was wearing. So as we were leaving and walking back to our cars in the parking lot, Beth pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I hope you didn't take this as a personal attack. They just have a dress code here, and if they make an exception for you, then they have to make an exception for everyone. They just want to keep it a family-friendly environment and have their dress code. And they just want to make sure that their husbands aren't ogling the girls." And I had calmed down enough at that point to have a conversation about this, but I was like, that is why I got so upset. Why is it that for some reason my body is considered shameful and that I have to cover up if there are men around? That doesn't seem right to me. It goes along with the whole, oh, boys will be boys thing, and we as women have to change our behaviors and how we dress in order to make it easier for them to behave themselves. And Beth was like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, and that does suck that we have to do that, but it's just so much easier. And I was like, yeah, it's easier for the men. It's not easier for us. Just that whole attitude of, we don't want the men looking at you because that will cause them to be unfaithful to their wives. That is not my fault. That is on them, not me. So I was so angry. So I was so angry and so upset the rest of that week. Just thinking about that made me so upset. And now talking about it a month later, I just feel sad. Because both women in the story, Beth and Susan, are older, and they were both raised, in the very religious, Christian mindset, or conservative mindset, where women are raised to think that dressing modest is what's best, and that women need to change their behavior for men. And they both dress very modestly, and I could be wrong in this, but I feel like they both also may struggle with some physical confidence issues, where they don't have a lot of self-confidence in their own physical appearance, and that makes me really sad. And there is nothing wrong with dressing modestly. I am a firm believer that women should dress however the hell they want, whether that be wearing clothing that covers you from head to toe, or if you want to show more skin. But I think when it comes to very religious or conservative people, when they are brought up in that way, they tend to associate immodest dress with promiscuity or dirty behavior or anything that's sinful and wrong according to their religion or whatever, they believe in. And having been raised in that mindset myself, I was raised Roman Catholic, so I have the unique perspective of having been on both sides. And I used to agree with the whole modestus hottest thing, and we should all burn halter tops, and that everyone should dress modestly so your husband or partner doesn't look at other women. And it just makes me feel so sad and so frustrated when I see women do that to other women. Because it's not enough that men are always commenting on our appearance, saying, oh, well, you should cover up more, you're dressed like a slut, or then, why are you wearing such modest clothing? What are you, a nun? It's like, we cannot win. And I feel so strongly that as women, we should uplift and support each other instead of tearing each other down and trying to shame other people for what they wear or what they look like. So I just wanted to share that with you all, get it off my chest, but also maybe try to bring some awareness and let's support each other. Women should not tear each other down or make them feel ashamed of how they look and their bodies and what they're wearing. So that is my story, and I will continue to wear whatever the hell I want because that is how I choose to live my life. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.